party. Make the party invite only. Okay. I think that's good. Alright. So if anyone is tuning in, like right now, I'm just gonna be basically chilling today, interacting with anyone that decides to, talk and chat. I'm working on some catalyst grinds, something I can kind of do without a whole lot of effort and go back and forth between the game and chat without any issues. Only has one stop. Let's catch that then. Alright. Let's see if, yeah, I should probably open that. Let's see. There we go. I'll just open that up and see what's going on. Okay, I have to load my channel back up real quick. Alright. Seems like it's sounding pretty good. So I'll just let that go. Go pick up some bounties. See how things go. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun.
In our city, over my dead body.
Oh, good. I already hear the NPC starting on things. Oh no, but that thing where my character model hasn't loaded in.
Switch the routes.
Question is the game going to
Hello,
freak
Guardian.
out on me? 'Cause I hope not.
Requisition approved.
Precision damage, enemies, finishers, and champions.
Stay sharp.
Okay, what is Banshees? Stuff.
Nice shooting out there.
Let's see. On the moon.
Thanks. Here you go.
And calibrate weapons, scout rifles, sniper rifles, linear fusions, and kinetic weapons. Okay.
Keep it loaded.
Whole worlds of knowledge were lost in the fires of the assault.
Sweet. Power overwhelming. Cool. Still feather repeater. That's not the one I want. I want the patron of lost causes. I want to get a better roll on
Good
that.
to see you alive.
Guess I should also pick up one for where's also Traveler's Judgment. Pick that one up and Jack Queen King 3.
Me, that might help.
Those 3 while I'm doing these. Alright.
Remain
Let us
vigilant, Guardian. We may
to
never quite be as safe as we think.
The Dreaming City. And do this.
Think you can do it within budget?
For generations, the Dreaming City housed one of the Awoken's most closely guarded secrets. She is known as Riven. Riven of 1,000 Voices. The last known Ahamkara. She has been taken, and her death is your calling.
this is gonna be fun, because now I have to look up my screenshot. I have to remember which one of these is the actual one that I'm looking for. This one? Yeah, it's this one.
You are finally here. Brother Slayer. Spawn Killer. All that strength. And you're still nothing but a retainer to the Awoken Queen. You could be so much more. All you need do is wish it. Come. I would quite like to meet you.
Oh boy. I just realized I'm doing this with a hand cannon and an SMG. Fun times ahead. Okay, forgot I had to crouch there. It's been a while since I've been in here. Alright. Pardon me for a minute while I have this screen shot up. Alright, so forgive me if I'm a bit quiet in chat for a minute. I am gonna have a different tab open. Suppose it'd help if I actually hit it. The whole top row is supposed to be like all birds. And I'm gonna run out of ammo before I get there. Totally should have come up here with an AR, but you know, it's whatever. That one is actually done. Now that one is done. Top row's done. that one's done. That one's done. Now that one's done. Snakes and one bird. I need it. And there we go. And the diving bird. Well, now I gotta go all the way around. Rip me. Okay, good. Need 2 more snakes. Birds. Oh, thank God it gave me the ammo finally. The one in the middle's done, so I just need to get the birds now. That one's done. That one's done. So now I just need to do the corners, which will be a flapping bird. Should be it. Got it. Alright, so now that can go away, and I can get back to chat. Also, something that I'm going to do is change my subclass and my boots for this. It's because I don't really need the boots at the moment, and I kind of don't need the chest piece, so I'm looking for an arc one. There we go. Now, why the chest piece? So I can get sword reserves. $70 rounds. This will be fun. I'm gonna periodically check and see well, let me get back to where I was going. I'm going to occasionally look over and check chat, so if anyone says anything, I will be quick to respond. Also, I put on the wrong subclass. GG me. I'll rectify this real quick, because I put on the wrong subclass. 10 out of 10 gameplay, me. 10 out of 10 gameplay. Okay, let's go. Cut to the quick. Question is, like, what quick is it talking about? Because I'm about to level up, actually, with the season, so that's cool. Yeah, they're 100, fractaling. That's defeating Cabal. That's finishers. And that's melee abilities. Oh boy. That's my season rank up. Close. There's another one completed. Yeah, just casually passing the time by doing this. Waiting for that adventures and then grenade launcher kills. Well, that'll be easy enough to do here, actually. Sweet. Ow. Should probably check and see what my progress is so far, because it's not too bad. At least in terms of, like, catalysts, it's not as bad as some of the other ones. Yeah, I'm already 51%. Oh, that was fun. Oh, I just got physics so hard. Hadn't had that happen in a while. Oh, that was funny. That was real funny. Oh. Check on these updates while stuff finish. See why I was pinged over here. Oh, that's why I was pinged. Okay. Never mind. It was a false alarm. Thought it was something I needed to know about. Just fine. See what we're up to now. %68%. Yeah, doing good. Making good progress. Ow. See how much ammo do I have left? 1. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna fly. Let's go. It's Prime. Sweet. Actually, succeeded in having a good, well, a good grind attempt there. Get the most out of it. Oh, I'm at 98%, so I could just literally run in there and probably finish this off. I did it. Alright, let's actually apply this now that I have it. Shots blocked immediately after guarding increase the damage of crow's wings for a very short duration. Okay, so that catalyst is done. So now I need, I think hard light. I have hard light's catalyst. I'll have to see. Do I have this thing's catalyst? No, I don't. See what catalysts I have, but not completed. Let's see, Let's not want Oh no, it's in Triumphs. Right, it's in Triumphs. I've completed seasonal Triumphs. Increase the potential charge of the tower obelisk by repairing its components and increasing the level of destination obelisk summit 2400 to 3500. Sweet. Account. Yeah, it's count. Okay. Okay, so I need to do Sweet Businesses Catalyst. Vigilance Wing and the Crucible. Yuck. So I have completed aces, okay. Energy weapons, I need to do hard light. And I need to do World Line Zeros. Why is World Line Zeros on there twice? And then defeat enemies using Black Talon. No, they just like finish that one. So yeah, I was just doing that to clear things. Let's see. Where is my hard light? I'm gonna switch back to 21%. And switch back to my regular chess piece. Let's pull out a hard light and a Sweet Business. No, not weapons, exotics. That's a Sweet Business. It'd be kind of annoying to do the stuff on that one. And hard light. At least a Sweet Business, I just need multi-kills. So that shouldn't be too hard to get in here. Should be the only flag I need to use. Let's put a what we gotta do. Down to business. I think I actually, yeah, I did like this skin a lot more than that. Sweet business is gonna be an amusing one. Like a super amusing one. I wonder if I can update that, because it needs to be updated. Oh well. Because for some reason this decided to eat my, but now I should have my super, so it should be easier now. Assuming it doesn't eat my tether again, which it might. Let's see how many multi-kills I'm actually up to before I continue down the grind path. 80 out of 250, not bad. It's not bad at all. Well, that... I completed so many things at once. Oh, I'm working on finishing some catalyst grinds here at Shuro. Just because it gives me access to a raid banner if I need it. I've already finished Black Talon's catalyst, and now I'm working on Sweet Business, and then I have Hard Lights. Just try to finish these up while I have them. And since I put in the code to get here, now. Oh, like, well, this one? In order to do this one, I would need like a 14, probably, because the damage checks plus the puzzle are impossible. Now, if I wanted to solo some of the raid stuff, I could go back and do Crow's End. I could actually do that one in about 30-40 minutes or so if I didn't mess up. But like with 6 people, this encounter's not bad. It's just the puzzles. Because you're on a timer. So it's a combination of how good is your ad clear plus a DPS check and a puzzle. And this is like one of the encounters I don't necessarily like with this raid, because you have to do 6 full phases. No matter how good your team is, you always have to do 6 full phases. Sweet Business is funny. Oh yeah, like, I really wish they would buff it, or move it to like either the special or the heavy slot, to where it would do more damage. Oh yeah, I've been wondering if that was actually updated. Oh, it has! Sweet. Yeah, it's one of the extensions that Twitch has for D2, and I absolutely love it. I know, like, a lot of the streamers that I watch use it, and it's very nice. I don't know how in detail it actually goes. But at the very least, you can see how leveled up my artifact is for this season. And the fact that I'm actually using 2 Gambit weapons, unintentionally. Which, by the way, I haven't played a single game of Gambit this season. Yep, catalyst done. Sweet. Oh, well, I was about to say, like, don't worry about making people mad in Gambit. Gambit's, like, one of the most dead game modes in this. Gambit and Crucible are about, like, the same level of meh. Although Gambit actually has some pretty interesting guns that can drop. Like, this SMG. But that, you can get this SMG from Reckoning. Though, like, this roll is actually pretty decent this season, because it has, like, slideways and multi-kill clip. Actually got one with decent stability, because usually this thing is terrible. But I actually really do enjoy this SMG. Even though, like, SMGs are not as good as they were last season. Oh, well. Like, a lot of the perks are very similar to the stuff that was in D1. And it took a lot of experimenting to figure out everything. Oh yeah, like, I've played the game so much that I know most of the perks by name. Why did I quit Bastion? Oh yeah, like, Destiny is probably the game that I have the most time spent on next to, like, tanks. Just because I super enjoy it. Like, for the longest time, Destiny is my, sort of like stress release game. So it's like, I'm always happy when there's stuff in this game to do. Which this season there's been kind of like a bit of a lull since there hasn't been a whole lot of content. Let me switch it to solar. Oh wow, that just straight up killed me. Okay, that's a new one. Like, the game started out vanilla D1. It was very lackluster. There was not a whole lot to do. Then came the unlocking of Vault of Glass. That's when the game went from just a shooter to like something special. It's like the raid, like Vault of Glass is pretty much what saved D1 from going under. And then we had another sort of lull and disappointment in Dark Below. This Crota was a joke. Although the loot was great. The loot drops from Crota's End were top-notch stuff. Then we had House of Wolves, which people were disappointed in because it wasn't a raid. And I understand. The raids are kind of what made Destiny Destiny. But the real game changer for D1 was probably King's Fall. When they added the Taken King expansion and people first got to do King's Fall, it was like the first raid in Destiny that required a full team to do jobs. And then it ended up with Rise of Iron, which put Destiny in like the best state that it had ever been in. Which, I hope Destiny 2 has a Rise of Iron moment. Because Rise of Iron took all the old raids and made them, like, current. Oh yeah, like, King's Fall, only, like, the best of the best could probably do it with less than a full team. But like your average raid team, it would take the full 6 people to do the raid. Because there's a job for everyone. And of course, the difference between like D1 and D2 raids is like in D1 normal mode, you got infinite revives. Hard mode, there were no revives. So in D1, if you were doing a hard mode raid for the best loot, which was specific to that raid and that raid alone, and actually had some unique perks to it. Oh yeah. Like when people two-manned certain encounters, they would have to do like 3 jobs each. And if you're doing hard modes, and someone in your team dies that's doing a role, you have to like double up. It's not impossible, but it just makes it a lot harder. Wait. Next time my raid team does a D1 raid, I'll have to stream it. Because I think the next one we're gonna do is actually King's Fall on 390. Should be amusing. Like, King's Fall is still up there as one of my more favorite raids, just because the soundtrack and, according to the lore, what we're doing in King's Fall that makes it so good. Because I'll admit, the mechanics of the raid get kind of stale. Aside from, like, the actual boss fights. I enjoy them. Like, the raids are what made Destiny for me. Even though, like, the regular content, in and of itself, is really good. In most aspects. Like, the raids are just special. Yeah, I would be more than happy to show how the raids are. As well as, eventually at some point do, like, if enough people are present, could do a raid with viewers. That's cool. It's always fun to do. It's actually something I used to do with Sherpa teams through raids. Like, have maybe like 1 or 2 people in the raid that actually had experience, and then everyone else is just kind of brand new to it. Makes things fun. Get people's first time reactions to doing it. Yeah, teaching is not hard. It's just, most of the raids, it more or less goes down to trial and error. Because not all strategies work. But from being a Sherpa for as long as I have kind of learned to adapt. It's like you can make things work. And in most raids, you can actually, like, depending on how confident someone is, you can assign them different roles. Like, I'll be honest, D2 raids are a lot more forgiving than D1. Like, this raid even, like, the final boss is fairly forgiving. Compared to a boss like Oryx. Yeah. Like, a lot of this stuff is just a combination of information that the community has put together, which is something that I also like about Destiny. Good portion of the community is, like, super friendly and helpful. And it's one of those games that actually has a ridiculous amount of solid content creators. Like, I'd say a couple of the best people to watch to learn certain skill sets would be, Glad and Error. Like, most of the super helpful people moved on to PC because, like, the 60 FPS and just the ease of access. Which, I'll admit, like, 60 FPS would be pretty nice. Although, like, there's pros and cons of each version. Especially now since they added the cross saves. So you can, if you play on a different platform, you can take your progress with you and go back and forth. That's created a lot more unity. Like, another good Destiny person to watch. Like, if you want someone that will make you laugh, watch Professor Broman. He is hilarious. And an all-around pretty cool guy. Yeah. Like, that's something that I'm so glad that Bungie did, because, like, a lot of the people that I used to watch started out on console, because D1 was only on consoles. Yeah. Professor Broman. His, I think his YouTube channel is, Ben Broman now, which is his actual name. But you can find him pretty easily by searching Professor Broman. I like going back and watching a lot of his old D1 stuff because he did story time. He would do story times while raiding with viewers and subs on Twitch. It's pretty cool. Oh, that might be a problem. Yeah, he's one of, like, the top results when you search for people who make stuff for Destiny. Him and a few other Destiny content creators got together and started a convention that's held every year called Guardian Con. Yeah. His is one of the bigger, like, Destiny channels besides Glad. Glad's, like, popped up to be, like, one of the biggest Destiny streamers. Because when most people stopped playing Destiny 2 and, like, Curse of Osiris, he kept playing, and people will flock to him. But yeah, Broman's a cool dude. Super positive, super chill. His team actually has a world's first raid completion for King's Fall back in D1, which was awesome. Ah. Yeah, that question surprisingly hasn't come up yet. But the D and the 95 in my gamertag and name have to do with my initial and my birth year. Mainly because I couldn't just get Silent D. That's actually the real reason. Because I had to have the numbers on the end of my gamertag, so I just made everything D95. All because I couldn't just have Silent D. Although I can on my YouTube, which is hilarious. Like, the YouTube channel, I think, is the only thing I've been able to get Silent D on. Also, there's like some things I can't get just Silent D on because for some reason it flags it as offensive. So that's always amusing to me. Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, like when I initially made my gamertag, I didn't even have a headset. I was just playing online. I was also a lot more reserved back then, because at the time, I was just like coming to grips with, yeah. At the time, I was coming to grips with like severe social anxiety disorder. And like getting over that. I still have it, but it's not as bad, and streaming has actually helped a lot with my anxiety. Makes me feel a little bit more comfortable talking to people. So like, in most gaming situations where, you know, require a lot of communication and most people wouldn't do those things with people that don't talk, I don't mind, because I used to not talk. I also play Destiny a lot with Derpy, who is a mute and does not talk. it's like, I absolutely do not mind if somebody doesn't talk. Like, oh yeah, that's true. Like, just through several personal experiences, the anxiety either got worse or better. Oh yeah, like, I'm getting more and more comfortable with the idea of streaming. It's actually been, like, really good therapy. Because I can basically sit back, play something that I enjoy and or have spent a lot of time on and gives me much salt and frustration, but be less salty and frustrated than I normally would be alone. This game, though, Destiny is probably a game that I could play and more than likely never get frustrated unless I'm playing comp. And it's also kind of why I want to get a bit more consistent. It's like, if I get everything settled down right, I want to be able to stream like three days a week. Twice during the week and once on weekends. So I think that would be a pretty solid schedule. And then that would allow me to like have viewer play days. That's like one of my stretch goals, is to have viewer play days. Yeah, exactly. Like, some of the streamers that I enjoy watching do that with subs and so forth, but they started out doing it with viewers. Like, and they still do some of those. They have community play days and so on and so forth, and encourage community, which I like. Something I've noticed, like a lot of the best streamers that are out there, they don't forget that they started with nobody. They started with like maybe 1 or 2 people watching, and now they're up to several hundred subs and a few thousand people watching. I like that. I like that they don't forget where they started. It's like, it's something that I want to start, and if I get more if I get to the point where I can get subs, yeah, like, if I get to that point, I don't want to forget the people that helped me get to that point. And it's... I've been watching since I started, which before, there's no way I could have been able to stream before because the internet wasn't solid enough to do that. But now that it is, it's like I want to do that, and it's something that I would love to do. It was either this or a comedy. It's like, I enjoy entertaining people. Making people laugh, so on and so forth. Makes me feel good. Like, the other thing is, if I get to the point where my channel is big enough, I like start investing in better streaming equipment. Actually might start editing videos instead of just straight uploads, so on and so forth. Like, one thing that I always want to make sure is, no matter how big my channel gets, I want to always stay humble. I want to think that I am here because of myself. It's like, that's absolutely not the case when streaming. Like, when you're a big streamer, you're not there because of you. You're there because of the people that follow you, watch your streams, and sub to you. But you're only part of the equation. That's why I don't like the super arrogant streamers. Yeah. It's like, I can't stand the big head. The other thing I don't want to ever do is I don't want to be dishonest. Like, when I'm streaming, this is me. I'm not putting on a different persona just to stream it. This is how I am all the time. I don't like the fake personas. I'm not a fan of those. Like, I get it if you're doing it because you're not ready to reveal your identity, something like that. Like, that's fine. But if you're not being, like, yourself in some way or another, I can't get behind that, really. Oh yeah. Like, I think one of the hardest things about streaming the way that I have been is I am putting myself out there, not only on Twitch, but also on YouTube. So it's like, I know eventually, yeah, like those kind of streamers. But I know eventually at some point, one of my videos or one of my streams, I'm gonna get comments or messages or something that are gonna be, like, super negative and critical, but, like, I mean, that's critiquing me, who I am. And, like, I am one of the people that, like, I'll agree to disagree. Everyone has their own opinions. I'm not gonna, like, not too long ago, I got banned from someone's, some random streamer's chat because I had disagreed and brought proof that the Italian tanks on console were over-nerfed. They apparently took offense to that and banned me from their channel. I was like, oh, okay. Seemed a bit unnecessary, but alright. It's your channel, you do you. Like on here, when I'm playing and I have an opinion on something, if someone comes in with a different opinion, as long as they're not, you know, attacking other people, I don't mind it. Like, bring up an opinion, I'll listen. I don't mind the different opinions, and I'm certainly not going to ban someone for having a different opinion. Yeah, that was my thoughts exactly. It's like, I'm not attacking you personally. Just having a discussion about this. But I got banned for it. And I was the only one watching the stream. Like, it's another thing I've been trying to do recently, because I want to make the community on console tanks more like a community again. I've been occasionally picking a random stream in the console directory, just chilling for a bit, talking with the streamer, seeing what's up, sort of hanging out. And it's been interesting. But that was the only one I've been banned on just for disagreeing. Which is like, I'm waiting for the day, because I know someone is just going to randomly show up for a stream and disagree. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I've still been meaning to, like, mess with the audio settings, because the game is still, like, ridiculously loud compared to my audio. Let me see if I can pull it up on Twitch real quick and turn the game down again. 1 second. Okay, let's see, how is it about now? Nice. I've been meaning to do that for a while, but I just kept forgetting. Because, especially over the weekend, it's been pretty busy here. Yeah, going back to that community of streamers for console tanks. It's like, there are a few streamers, all of them, like, not really in a group at all. Like, I want it to be a bit more kind of like how PC's community is. Like, they're not high-strung, they're not against each other completely, some of them don't like each other. That's understandable, people will be people. But it's like they're not on the wargaming camp or the community camp always going at each other. They're just kind of sharing. And same thing with like the forums. Like the forums used to be a place where someone could go on, ask a question, and get an actual answer. Instead of just going on, asking a question, and then getting maybe one or two people actually answer, and then the rest either calling them a troll or a liar. Like, I don't get where that started, but it really shouldn't be that way. Like, the forums used to be a place where people would always say, hey, if you're new to the game, you should go there. There's some good information. Now, people refer to YouTube channels and Twitch streams instead of the forums for places of information. Because they're just better. I mean, I definitely would rather refer people to streams and YouTube videos than the forums nowadays anyway. It's because, like, I'll say it in all honesty, the console forums are almost as bad as the Reddit, and the Reddit is a toxic cesspool. Yeah, it's true. Like, in the early days of the forums, there used to be so many helpful people who cared about the game and were more than willing to help other players get better. Yeah, there is that too. It's like, it's not a very newcomer-friendly place anymore. Which, like, ever since the restructure, a lot of the old, really, really good, useful stuff got deleted and replaced by somewhat mediocre threads. Oh yeah, like, there were a lot of people from the old days of the forums who actually got banned just because they disagreed with the way wargaming was headed. Yeah. But, like, a lot of the people that I learned from, like, how to be a better player, they have been banned or moved on from the game because wargaming has made them, you know, sort of lose interest. I mean, a good example of this was Derpy. Derpy got banned from the forums just because they didn't like his signature, and he kept putting it back. Derpy was actually one of the most helpful people on the forums. He could rub some people the wrong way just because he would tell you, he will tell you what's on his mind and what he thinks of the situation, and tell you what you would need to do to get better, and be as blunt as possible with it. But that's something that I personally like. It's like, I'm cool with being told what I'm doing right, but when I want to get better, I want to know, like, what I'm doing wrong, not being, you know, put down because of what I'm doing wrong, but being told straight up, hey, this is not right. If you want to get better, you need to do this or that. Not sugarcoating it. I think that helped me more than anything. And also, since I've started streaming, I've actually been playing better. Because when I go back through and I watch over the stream to make sure that everything's good, I'm seeing, like, mistakes I've been making, so on and so forth. Same thing with, like, Destiny. When I play this, and I watch back streams that I've made of this, I'm like, wow. I totally didn't see that. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's how I see it, too. It's like, there is a limit to when criticism goes from being constructive to detrimental. And a lot of the people that are on the forums currently seem to go over that line quite a bit. And a lot of threads that start out with good intentions usually end up devolving into a mudslinging contest, so to speak. Or an EP measuring contest. And nobody learns from that. It's the same thing with, like, what's going around currently about Operation Overhaul. They're like, oh, Clone Guy's just doing it because he has a vendetta against Wargaming. Anyone that's actually paid attention to the whole thing knows that it's not a vendetta against Wargaming. It's a push for a lot of community members, content creators, and so on and so forth, to get together and actually push them to do something other than reskin tanks and sell them to us. Like me, for instance. Do I have anything against Wargaming's console dev team? No. No, I don't. Do I think they're not doing things right? Absolutely. Because rather than address issues with the game, they're pushing it off on the players, either being trolls, liars, or harassing them. Like, how is it harassing them to ask developers, what are they going to do about this? Or what are they going to do about that? Or can they do something besides reskin tanks and sell them to us? Like, it might just be because I'm not a developer, but I don't think asking them to do something that's actually quality of life for the game is harassment. Especially when most people I've seen are being as respectful as they can. even though you can tell the majority are frustrated beyond belief, myself included. I mean, losing my train of thought with it, but it's something that I speak sort of passionately about because I have spent so much time on it. Oh yeah, there is that too. It's like, it's just hard for me to stay as composed as I can be when I'm talking about the game. Because, like, I've been playing console for 6 years. Like, console tanks for 6 years. And seeing the game in the state that it's currently in is, I'll be honest, it's kind of soul-crushing. It's like, there was a point in time where a weekly update was expected. And nothing has made me more apparent to what's wrong with console tanks than playing other games like this one. Like this game, for instance. There are updates to this game like every week or two. Like, before, like, the early days of Tank, there was a weekly update. It was usually something small, nothing, like, crazy, but they would tell you, like, okay, here's what's coming this week, and they would tell you a week in advance. That was also when, like, they would announce things more than the day before or the day of. Now, you do good if they tell you even remotely a shred of, just a shred of information about what's coming the next day. Like what they've been talking about with the anniversary. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I'll use Destiny 2 as an example. Every week on Thursday, Bungie puts out the This Week at Bungie article on their website. It has a list of things that they are working on, things that are coming out next week, things that are in the works for the future, bugs that have been reported, anything that is coming in a hot fix, and community videos, plus some other assorted goodies. That's something that I respect a lot, because even though, like, me and a lot of people currently think with Bungie, this season has been extremely lackluster. But I respect that Bungie as a developer are willing to be transparent with us players. Like, okay, even if I don't really believe all of the reasonings that they give, I respect that they are open enough to tell us that, hey, this is what we're doing. We've had holdups here and there. This is what's coming. This is what you can expect. And we see feedback. We're reporting this feedback. We're actually doing something with this feedback. That's something that I've seen in a few other developers. Like, the biggest shock to me is one of the developers has actually been listening to feedback from players has been DICE with Battlefront 2. Yeah, like, you can definitely tell when a developer is being transparent because they're actually doing stuff that the community is talking about. If you want to see a game developer that is, no joke, probably one of the best at listening to its community, look up Larian Studios. They're the people that made Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, all of the Divinity series, and they're working on the new Baldur's Gate. They are a fantastic developer, and I cannot stress this enough how much they actually respect their community, and it shows. Next to them would probably be CD Projekt Red, because they're another developer that's super about their community. Like, just mentioning those two, that is basically what gamers view as the ideal development team. They work hard, they have a passion for the games that they make, and they're very transparent with their player base. Now, CD Projekt Red and Larian Studios. Something that I would get into. If you haven't heard about Larian Studios, they are worth a look. Like, Divinity, the way that I can describe it, Divinity Original Sin is like D&D if it was a video game. The writing is pretty solid. The gameplay is also pretty solid. Can be rage-inducing because there's a lot of dice rolls and so on and so forth, like D&D. But it's a really, really damn good game. The second one is even better than the first one, which is quite a feat. Because the first one was a really good game. And the thing that I respect so much about them is, with Divinity Original Sin 2, they didn't reuse a single asset from the first game. They literally built everything in Divinity 2 from the ground up. The first game was funded entirely from Kickstarter. The second one only had a Kickstarter to cover cosmetics and anything else that they would add in the game to all players for free. The Kickstarter for the second game broke, I think, $2 million in a week. Just because of how many people were on board with what Larian was doing. And they did not disappoint. I mean, that is also another game that I would play sometime on stream, because I enjoy it a lot. Although I don't know like how fun it is to watch. Oh yeah. But like, a lot of Kickstarters have been hit and miss, but Larian does a good job. Like, they've earned it. They were actually, when they released Divinity Original Sin 2, they were one of the games nominated for best RPG of the Year, up with Final Fantasy 15. This is a little bitty studio in Belgium that's competing with Square Enix for RPG of the Year. That just tells you how good the game is. That's true. You could do that. Plus, when you're playing Divinity, that's a game that's super encouraging of role-playing, and I love doing that. And as you can probably tell by now, I also love to ramble when I get on topics that I feel strongly about. I get into it a little bit. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes I do get a little passionate about things and can get carried away. But as long as it is enjoyable, that's what matters. Yeah. Getting back my train of thought. Yeah. I feel very strongly about a game that I basically spent 6 years of my life playing. Which, I think... Actually, yeah, the same goes for Destiny as well. It's another game that I've been playing for a good portion of my life now. So, like, if I get a little into it about topics on either this or tanks, it's just because, like, I care. Which normally I like to stay positive, and I like to do like conversations on positive aspects of this and that and so forth. Overall, stream for a fun time. Make things fun, engaging. The other thing is I like to communicate, so like if like anyone, and I do mean like anyone, posts anything in chat, I will try my best to respond to it. It's like I forget what stream it was, but one stream there's, I think there was like 10, maybe 12 people in chat, and there was at least, I think there were at least like 2 or 3 of you talking. Like, that's the kind of stuff that makes me slightly more excited. Because I like being involved. And engaging. I guess engaging is probably the better word instead of involved. Yeah, I agree. It does make it more fun to watch. That's another reason why I want to do, like, the viewer play days. Because, like, some of the games that I play, like, if I have some viewers that haven't done some of these things, or have issues finding people to do things in the game, some days I wouldn't mind helping do that. Like with Destiny, something that I know I could do for a fact is run people through like Nightfalls or the dungeon if they don't want to deal with LFG or, in the case of the Nightfall, matchmaking. Yeah, like, I can't do that. I can't go around and just be negative for the sake of being negative. Or just being negative for the sake of views. Like, I'm not gonna do that. That's not me. It's not something I support. It's also why I stopped watching some people on YouTube, is because they were just being negative for the sake of views. Or just being negative for the sake of being negative. It's like, no offense, but the people that are just negative to be negative, or negative just for the sake of views, it's like there's no substance to the content. Part of the time, there's no actual research into the things they're being negative about. Which, that gets under my skin. Some people can probably tell you, I love doing my research and things before I commit to it. That's why it took me so long to start playing Warships Legends. Because at the time, when I played in the beta, them saying it only... yeah. With Warships Legends, them saying that the game would only go up to Tier 7 because console players were too dumb to understand Tier 10, in the words of the Russians. Which... do I disagree? Not entirely. They're not entirely wrong. Even though I wish they would have actually put Tier 10s in there, instead of taking Tier 10s and making them Tier 7s for some reason. The game's not terrible. I just took a long time before I was invested in actually playing it. And the same thing with, like, Destiny 1. Believe it or not, until I played the beta for Destiny 1, I was not that fond of Bungie games. I know, it might come as a shock to people, but I was not that fond of Bungie before I played the Destiny beta. I had played bits of ODST, and I played like the opening bits of Reach at a friend's house. And that was all the experience I had of Bungie games. And, like, I wasn't sold on Bungie at the time. So I went into the Destiny beta thinking, like, well, this is different, but it's Bungie, so it'll probably be like Halo, and I might not enjoy it that much. I ended up putting like 200 hours into the beta, and bought the collector's edition of Destiny 1. With the Steel Series case and the postcards and all that stuff. And I have basically played Destiny ever since. Because I got into the game and I started reading everything that was in the lore. Like, I found the Grimoire cards, I started reading all that. I got into it because I like doing my research on things. And as much as I wish they would put more story in the game, those Grimoire cards are basically the reason that I stayed with Destiny. And then the raids basically hooked me on the game. Oh god, yes. I mean, have you seen the most recent video PC released? They're removing well, they're moving, not removing. They're moving 91 tanks from tier 2 through 4 to be special tanks. And they're trimming each tech tree down to where it'll only take you like 11 tanks to get all of the tanks between tier 1 and 4. Honestly, I think it's a really, really good idea for new players. Because the Russian tech tree specifically is like the most confusing, jumbled mess of tanks in the game. But they're trimming down the Americans, the French... I think the French... No, the Americans, the Germans, and the Russians. I know for sure they're trimming down. Yeah, like, they're going to make all of the tech trees branch off of one singular tech tree beginning. So, like, tier 1 through 3, I think, in those nations are all going to be the same. And then it branches off into the specializations. But all of the tanks that they're moving will be available for credits, like they are currently. They'll just be out of the tech tree. So you can still get other like tier 2s, tanks that never saw combat is mainly what they're removing from the tech tree and placing in this special group of tanks. Which I'm cool with that. That's a cool idea. It's something to bring more players into the game so that it's less confusing and they can get to tier 5 so much faster that way. I think it's good for the game. Also, them nerfing the damage on premium rounds. That's a big kicker. They're making standard ammunition more appealing. Yeah, like, you will not have to buy them with gold. You can get them with in-game currency, and I am all for that. Because they're not removing them from the game. They're just cleaning up the tech trees to actual tanks. Aside from the British light tank line. Which there's only one actual tank in that. Yeah. The way that PC's got PTS, I think it's up now, but I'm not entirely sure. But the premium rounds will do less damage for more pen. Which I think is something that should have been done a long time ago, and I'm glad they're doing it. And they're also making it so that HE rounds for all caliber guns below 120 now are consistent. So, if you have, like, let's say, a 57mm gun, and you shoot HE at a tank to reset it, like, now, there's a chance that a HE shell will do absolutely nothing. But after the HE rework, it will always do enough damage to force the reset. So now HE shells actually have a place on tanks with guns that are below 120. Like, this is how they've balanced the HE shells. On all guns, aside from the KV2, the penetration on HE shells has been drastically reduced, so they're not going to do big damage. So like the big guns that are not the KV2 and the T49, they're not going to do big damage, so they're not going to benefit spamming. Which I think is a good idea. That actually makes HE, like, tactical. It gives it a reason to exist besides, I'm just going to derp this tank. And of course, PC actually has some decent armor balancing, so I don't have a problem with that. They don't have ghost shells, it's fine. Yeah, the KV2, they realized that it kind of relies on its HE shells. They also said the same thing about the T49 and the Sheridan, which is true. So the T49 and the Sheridan, though, will lose their penetration on HE shells, but they will remain effective. Which I'm glad they're doing that. It's like, it's good quality of life changes. Honestly, it's kind of appealing to me. And if I had less of a potato of a PC, I would play that and try to stream it. But my PC currently can't play a game and stream at the same time. The other thing is, like, getting readjusted to keyboard and mouse is something that has been a little problematic for me, because, like, when I first started playing games, I played on keyboard and mouse, and I played Battlefield. So it's like, I was no stranger to it. Well, mine doesn't. Mainly because my PC is a laptop. It cannot handle too many things going at the same time. Which is why, another reason, if my channel starts getting big enough to where I can set aside funds to get an actual streaming setup, I would do stuff like that. It would also make streaming from my console a lot easier, because it would take the upload strain off of my Xbox. Yeah, like, I played, I think maybe 2 or 3 years I played somewhat competitive Battlefield on PC. Then I switched to console when I had to take a break from being competitive because of heart-related issues. And I've played console for so long now that it's just, it takes a while for me to get comfortable with mouse and keyboard again. I can still, like, once I get into the swing of it, mouse and keyboard's like second nature, but it's just getting back into it that's the issue. Like, I thought about getting one of those specialty mouse and keyboards that they make for the PlayStation, and messing around on tanks on PS4 with that, just to get in the hang of mouse and keyboard again. But Xbox also has the mouse and keyboard support. The only problem would be console tanks doesn't actually show you the controller, or the control inputs it has for keyboard and mouse. So you have to figure those out on your own. And that's where it gets tricky. Like, when I actually had the trial version of it, I was using, I forget what it is. It wasn't key sticks, but it was one of the other ones that gave you, controller bindings for, PC games, and they had tanks on there. So, there was a short period of time I was able to play, PC tanks with a 360 controller, and that was probably the most comfortable I've played PC tanks in a while. Oh yeah, and the other big differences with the controller is I can use that and sit away from the screen. When I'm using mouse and keyboard, I'm basically sitting like right next to the screen, almost on top of it, and that gets really, really hard on the eyes. So it's like I find playing with a controller a whole lot more comfortable. So let's see, do I have any more catalysts I can complete? Don't think I have any more I can complete here. I think that's all of them I can complete here. Oh yeah, I... That's one thing, because I'm one of those people that is basically what they would call a marathon gamer. I'll sit down and I'll play games for hours on end. So comfort is absolutely key. Alright, grenade launcher that I can do here. I need finishers, melee kills, and then I'll go kill Cabal. Where's a good grenade launcher? You have a fighting lion somewhere? I don't have a fighting lion on me. Let me find the best kinetic weapon in the game. Use Love and Death with it. Double up on the grenade launchers. Oh yeah, like, I was always a bit of a completionist in this game, but, like, this season, I'm probably not gonna get completed, just because it's not much of a drive as there is for other seasons. Use one of my favorite shotguns. special ammo. While here, though, I could do some future stream brainstorming. Like, I am always open to suggestions of things that I could stream. Or stream about. What am I doing? I have heavy ammo. Overkiller. It's like, one of the ideas I've been bouncing around is doing like some review streams. Like, what I could do in Destiny is I could go review weapons. In tanks, I could review specific tanks. I could review specific lines. Give like different perspectives on it. Like Destiny, I could actually do a stream going over specific perks and perk combinations that would be good. Undervalued weapons. They're like meme builds. Stuff like that. I am definitely open to suggestions for future streams. Even like games. If I have the game, I can try and do streams on it. I mean, that is assuming that my upload doesn't tank. It's like, as long as the upload's fine, I can stream basically anything. Oh yeah. I was, well, there is that, but what I was talking about a little bit ago was bouncing around ideas for future streams, like doing either tank reviews, tank line reviews, going over weapon perks and perk combos, meme builds, and so forth. Stuff like that. But I am definitely open to stream ideas. Like one of the non-tanks days. Like, I was trying to remember like how many games exactly are in my game library right now, but I have the option to install like 200 something games. So I've got a fair few and then I also have access to some stuff that's on Game Pass. Nice. Wait, I might do some of these on my non-tank stream days. Like, the Destiny 2 ones I could easily do on a day that I'm not playing tanks. Same thing with, like, a Divinity stream or some other games that I don't normally play. Although I definitely know next time that my team does a raid that I am going to stream. It might be this weekend, but when we do it, I will definitely stream it. Since we've been going back and doing, like, the hard modes of all the D1 raids. Oh yeah, well, I'm always comfortable at least trying something once. Like, there's only a select few games that I wouldn't play on stream or at all. But the raid streams are actually something that I absolutely love. Oh yeah, I'll give you a heads up. I know personally too that the notifications are a bit buggy. Because unless I'm actually actively on Twitch, it will not tell me when my follows go live. Let's see where, oh yeah, quests. Like, out of all of the raids that we've done, oh, well, games that I wouldn't stream at all would probably be, like, something like Fortnite. Like, Fortnite I wouldn't stream, because I have no intention of playing that. Another thing that I probably wouldn't stream would be, probably War Thunder. War Thunder would be something that I probably wouldn't stream either, because unless it's Plains. I might stream War Thunder Plains at some point. Oh yeah, like, my thing with, like, Fortnite is it's just something that does not interest me. That's, like, my only deal with it. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask. Have you experienced Devil's Ruin? Yeah. Like, out of the Battle Royales, I'd probably play PUBG on stream maybe once or twice. But Devil's Ruin is this new exotic sidearm fires normally like this, or you can hold it, and it becomes 1 kV. Yeah, it may be like the best DPS primary weapon in the game right now, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, it's basically a sidearm. So far, out of the weapons they've introduced this season, they've introduced that and the Bastion. Which, the Bastion is also sort of a hybrid weapon. Although it's a hybrid of a fusion rifle and a shotgun. Okay. Just gonna keep running out of melee range. Yeah, I'm all on board for the hybrid weapon idea. 'Cause I think it's cool. Hybrid weapons and or weapons that have alt fires. Like what they did with Lord of Wolves Catalyst, where they made it, or well, not Catalyst, but it's Change, where they made it an alt fire. Like, that's something that's awesome. Let me throw on the Bastion. Yeah, like, sort of like that too, but I'm just gonna say, like, this is a super pretty gun. Like, I absolutely love the look of this season's exotics. The only downside to the Bastion is that it can't crit. So you have to initiate a debuff for it to do crit damage. But it deals damage through shields. So that's pretty cool. Sweet. Traveler's Judgment too. Oh yeah. Like, it's the first fusion rifle in the game that fires kinetic slugs. And it refers to them as kinetic slugs, even though it's basically like buckshot. So it's absolutely a burst fire shotgun in the kinetic slot. It's just listed as a fusion rifle. Because of the charge. Is it a great DPS weapon? Not really. But it is fun. And it deletes majors pretty quick. Let's see what these weapons roll with. Yeah. Grave Robber and Under Pressure. That's not great. That's really not great. Tactical mag is pretty nice, though. I'll put it on just because I really enjoy the sound of it. What's this one have? Shield Disorient and Auto-Loading. It does have ricochets, though. It's not the best. Go ahead and ditch that one. Fighting Lion, because it's not my OG one. This is another one of like the seasonal legendaries. This one is Patron of Lost Causes. Scout Rifle. And then we have Breach Light for the SMG. Steel Feather Repeater is the AR. Perfect Paradox is back. As well as like all of the Curse of Osiris weapons. And this one, Martyr's Retribution. Plus there's Line in the Sand, Linear Fusion. Yeah, all of these weapons here are Saint 14s. Which is super cool. They also look really good with the Leviathan shaders. Which I think I have on Perfect Paradox here. Yeah, I do. Like, they look so good with the white and gold. Like, out of all of the weapons from this season, this one is probably one of my favorites. I need to get some ammo for it, though. Like, also, you'll see a little fleur-de-lis on the butt of the grenade launcher. But you know how most grenade launchers revolve around impact? This grenade launcher is different. Because rather than shooting it at your target, with this grenade launcher, you want to do this. Also, I can shoot it at my feet and not kill myself. Yeah. This one, unlike a lot of the other grenade launchers, feeds off of blast radius instead of velocity. So having like a blast radius masterwork on this thing, or a reload masterwork, is really cool. Let me actually open it up, because this thing actually does really solid damage. I'm not even gonna tether, just to show, like... It's really good ad clear. Find something that actually has some health to shoot at. Look at that, it almost one-shots these orange bars. It's basically like a weapon version of the thermite grenades that Titans get. I think it's the only new archetype weapon that they introduced. But it's really cool. I am certainly down for new archetypes of weapons. Oh, yeah, and this is one of the season pass rewards. Exactly. This is one of the 2 season pass reward weapons. I don't have a great roll on it, but this one can actually get a very hilarious curated roll that has tap the trigger for some reason. Yeah. There is no minimum safe distance. I mean, I can show you what it's like. I'll go to the tribute hall, where it'll be a little bit easier. And let me switch back to my seasonal stuff. Oh yeah, let me... I'll just put it on. This is what the full seasonal armor looks like. It's basically all Saint 14 kind of knight themed. Looks super clean. Go ahead and get rid of that, and this one. Yeah, these are the bog standard, non-shadered armor set. It's one of the new seasonal ones. Look like a Scion. Let me see if I can find one of the better shaders for this set. That Warbrick would probably look good on it if I had it. You know what? I'll check Crimson Valor because that's coming back up. Yeah. It's a super clean looking armor set. And it takes shaders really well. It might actually look better with more Leviathan shaders. If I could find one of the good ones. Let's use Callus as selected. It just looks super clean. I think I have one with darker red. Maybe Midnight Smith from Scourge? Oh wow, that's a lot of red. I'll give them credit for this season, even though there's a lack of content. The stuff actually does look good. Or the Imperial dress. Interesting. Oh! How about the, do I have any of the Iron Banner shaders? I don't think I do. I could also make myself obnoxiously reflective with, where is it? I don't think I have any more Sunlight Warrior. I could probably check with Nebula Rose. Yeah, that's not as bad as I was thinking it would be. Indigo Matrix probably is. Actually, it kind of looks like Glowhoo, but slightly more reflective. Let me actually pull up the season tab. Cause like the best parts of all of these. Ooh, I actually have some legendary shards I can pick up. Sweet. Yeah, that's another one of the seasonal ones, the Symmetry. It's an interesting concept. Another dual-purpose gun. Let me find the... And then this one, this is the gun that I really want from this season pass. It's basically the Scion's sniper. It is a high impact, so it's not like the best sniper. But it's cool, and it can roll with some like really, really solid solo perks. And let's see if I can find the ornaments. Ah, there's the ornaments. I don't know if I can view all of them at once, but yeah, it's a really good gun, and it comes with the you can get the perk Vorpal Weapon, which just gives it a flat 22%, 22 or 25% damage bonus on bosses and vehicles. Makes it pretty solid for solo play. I want these ornaments. These ornaments look so good. Oh yeah, and the weapons also have ornaments. And there's this. Saint 14 Ghost Shell, which I think is one of the coolest looking shells in the game right now. And the super clean ornament. Oh yeah. And we have another ornament at the end of the season for the symmetry. And then Saint 14's emote, where you feed pigeons. I think at some point he has a ship. Can't remember where that is though. All in all though, I'll have to admit I actually like the season pass structure for all these extra rewards. Yeah. Let's go to the tribute hall real quick and I'll show you what this rocket launcher does. It's on Nessus. I keep forgetting it's on Nessus. And since I have to kill some Cabal, I can show you the opening bit to Leviathan. Mainly because that's a raid that's hard to find people to play, just because it's kind of a joke. It's good fun with a group. It's just getting people to actually do it. Oh yeah, like, they made it borderline impossible to solo at this point in time. I think I actually have all the tributes. I do have all the tributes here. This is also like a tracking rocket. The tracking is not super strong though. Yeah. It's essentially one of the Hawk-A rocket launchers. Or, well, it has the Hawk-A intrinsic rocket launcher perk, to where it will lock on as long as you aim down sight. However, it could be like this thing. Although this thing was super toned down in D2 compared to what it was in D1. truth. Like, this thing in D1, you used to be able to play Crucible with this thing, walk onto someone, quick snap up, like, 90 degrees into the air, fire, and it would basically do a loop until it found the person you locked onto and kill them. It was kind of ridiculous. Yeah, like, Truth is an interesting rocket launcher. But, like, D1, it is definitely a lot more aggressive at tracking. Gotta say, though, like, out of the heavy weapons, I'm starting to like linear fusions a lot more than other heavies, just because... Like, if you get one with a charge time masterwork, it's actually not terrible for DPS. I just activated one of my favorite perks, Clown Cartridge. This thing's supposed to have a 5-round mag. Because of Clown Cartridge, I now have 7. Come on, super. Charge. It's another good weapon. Yeah. Like, they've released so many good-looking guns. And then there's this one, which finally got a buff. Yeah, it's super relaxing on the eyes. But I'm glad they buffed this gun, because it can't crit. I don't know how visible it is, but, like, one of the special things about this gun is when you reload, you can see that it's, yeah, I don't think you can see it, but when you reload it, that big crystal is basically a bug trapped in amber. So this gun is powered by a bug that's trapped in amber. And as you can see, it explodes. So it's like, if I wanted to, yeah. Like, that's something that I love that Bungie does. You have a visual feedback to how many shells you have. Except for when you get down to like this. Oh, never mind. There it was. It caught up. It's like, I'm trying to remember what all MGs actually have this, but this one has it. I think 21% delirium. Actually, all the MGs might have it. Let me check with Avalanche, because this is sort of a weird one. And I do have a shader on this Avalanche, because normally it's like blue and white. But I felt it was more appropriate to have it in actual Suros colors. Oh yeah, look at that. It does actually have the visual feedback. This was actually a good roll on the Avalanche I got during the Dawning, because it actually has good stability, plus a damage perk. But if you want like a really good Suros MG, this is a really good Suros MG. Like, a really, really good Suros MG. Because of that perk right there. You get this one from doing one of the Gambit pinnacles. Picking up special or heavy ammo reloads this weapon beyond normal capacity. And then kills increase this weapon's damage until it's stowed or reloaded. So like the normal damage here, it's like 801 for precision hits. Toggle these. Killing tally. Yeah. Oh yeah, like, the synergy of the perks on this gun are really, really good. Look at that. With Killing Tally, this thing does 1001. It's about 200 more damage. And since it's a pinnacle weapon, it always comes masterworked. So every time you get 2 kills, you're dropping orbs. Which is amusing because this season they introduced the charged with light mechanic. So when you have it on your armor, and you have a perk that uses charges of light, picking up the orbs you create with a specific mod will bump us up another 200 damage. So it's like, this gun just mows through enemies. And it also auto-reloads whenever you pick up ammo. So like, if you're doing strikes and heavyweights on, it's pretty good. Like, it has some decent DPS. It's probably the best DPS MG when you have killing tally up, but that requires you to get 3 kills before you can do the DPS. Yeah, it was a grind fest to get it. And it's like one of the few Gambit weapons that's actually worth getting. And since they removed auto reload from most things, Overflow became a top tier perk. Oh yeah, I should show an interesting feature of the game that I can do on Leviathan. Let me go see if they've patched something. I'm gonna laugh if they haven't patched this, because it's gonna be real funny. I think it's gonna be a safe bet that they haven't patched this. It's a little secret that I found out about one of the game mechanics in Crown of Sorrows. Like, see these 2 knights here? Now it says they're blessed. You need a special buff in order to do damage to them. Like, if I shoot him, it doesn't do anything. Pull out the colony, park right up next to him. Look at that! He's dead. And I don't have the buff. No, like, the buff is part of the initial raid mechanic, and also part of the raid mechanic in general. For some reason, the colony bypasses it, as long as you're point blank. It fires spider mines. So like, yeah. This thing used to be the bane of Crucible, because you fire it and it tracks the nearest target, and it'll go after it. They actually nerfed this thing to where its explosion radius is a lot less than it used to be. Just take this and then... I mean, unless you jump. Jumping or avoiding walls that it's on is like the only way you can avoid it, or if you shoot it before it gets to you. But it takes some super quick reaction time to do that. And unlike most of the weapons in the game, I actually do have, I think, all of the ornaments for this one. Yeah, I'm actually surprised they haven't patched that, but then again, like, once a raid's been out for a while, they usually don't do that. The only time they do fix things like that is when they do something like they did in Rise of Iron and they make the old raids relevant again. Which would be nice of them to do, because I would love to do some of these again. But like the colony, it's other than its special thing, and this, which is basically just a fancy way of saying auto-loading holster. Other than that, it's like your bog standard grenade launcher. Just with slightly less damage. So I'm gonna go get these Cabal kills on Leviathan. And then, once I finish my weapon bounty, probably call it there and get ready, because I'm actually gonna go get some exercise tonight. First time in a while I've actually gone to do something related to working out. Oh, I'm going to a gym to play some pickup games, basketball. Get a lot of cardio. I haven't in a while. it would be pretty good for me to do as well, because I am starting to get very much out of shape. And I need to not be out of shape. Oh, thank you.
Prove yourself worthy, and I will grant you the means to true power.
Also, fun fact here. Oh yeah. But fun fact about, the voice cast of Destiny 2. The voice for, Emperor Callus is the one and only Darren DePaul, the voice of Reinhardt in Overwatch. So yeah, take that in, that Callus and Reinhardt have the same voice actor. Yeah, that is something that some people might not know about me, is I am quite the buff on voice actors. Like, if I recognize a voice in a game, I'll try and see if I know where the voice actor is from. So the first one is actually over here? No, that's not, it's up here. Now that's Chalice. Oh, Chalice is the first one, okay. I mean, after you've heard certain voice actors enough, you can kind of guess it. Like, someone that's really easy to guess is like Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer has a fairly unique voice. Also, I've listened to him a lot. Yeah. Hi, Cabal. Hi, Cabal. There's a lot of you. This takes me back. Ow. Let's see how many Cabal kills I need for this. I have to go around the long way, because if I don't, it gets stuck on the map. %. Oh yeah, like, each week, the rotation changes. It's like the rotation of the encounters each week is different. It's like you'll have 1 week, it'll be like bathers, gauntlet, dogs. Next week it could be gauntlet, dogs, bathers. So on and so forth. And then there's also like a weekly challenge. So like one encounter will have the challenge unless you're doing prestige. Then all the challenges are active. Ow. Oh yeah, like, Leviathan, in all seriousness, is not a bad raid. Everything about it was set up nicely, it's just that they didn't future-proof it. So like right now, Callus probably has the second lowest health pool of any raid boss in D2. The only one I think that has lower health is one of the raid lair bosses. Ooh, let me run back here for a second. I'm gonna change my weapon real quick. Actually finish this one off with a hand cannon. Oh, I'm so gonna die. Yep. Like, most hand cannons now are pretty much meh, because they nerfed them, like, super hard. But, I got this old-fashioned to drop, and it's super fun because of Slide Shot. Slide Shot makes this gun amazingly fun. Like, for no reason other than the fact that I can slide to reload like one, maybe 2 rounds without having to reload. So normally when it takes, you know, that long to reload, when instead you can just do that. And that's the thing, I can reload easily without having to actually reload. Plus it increases my stats. If only I had like a damage perk on top of it. It's like, if I had this with like Rampage or multi-kill clip, I would be so happy with it. Like, hand cannons with any kind of reload perk are super fun. But I just love the sound, well, not necessarily the sound, but I love the feel of hand cannons in D2. The sound of hand cannons in D1 is better. The feel of them in D2 is alright, but the sound is just nowhere near as good as it was in D1 for hand cannons. I mean, they used to be, like, the go-to weapons. And I kind of miss that. Because, like, hand cannons are... I did it again. Some of the most fun weapons. I did it again. I went all the way around to the map. One more. There we go. Their damage and range. They got hit. Well, actually, they got hit more with range fall off than anything. Ooh. That's actually a pretty fun roll on that. Aside from no damage perk. Yeah, like, the only hand cannon in the game now that doesn't have damage fall off is, Sunshot. It's like, I can actually demonstrate this real well. 1089 there. 363. So you can see the damage drop off is pretty hefty on hand cannons. So if I go into my collections here, and I find the Sunshot, there it is. Aside from, like, Ariana's Vow, but I don't count Ariana's Vow as a hand cannon because it's a sniper rifle. Like, here's the kinetic. If I get right up here, 1082, that guy back there is getting hit. 700 down to 400. This one, it's gonna hit things for like 440, no matter what range you're shooting them at. Plus, when you kill things with Sunshot, they explode. Which will kill other things. And make them explode too. So it actually made Sunshot like one of the better kinetic, well, yeah, one of the better primary weapons in the game for ad clear. Although if you are within like regular hand cannon range, it still does its crit damage on the initial hit. But you're always going to get 442 explosion damage. Because it's intrinsic. It's explosive rounds. So in places with like a lot of low tier ads, Sunshot is like your go-to. Good gun. Alright. I think I should probably call it for now. And, actually, you get Sunshot from just playing the campaign. It's basically just play the base campaign and you can get Sunshot. Easy. Or, like, the way, that they have things set up. Xur's exotic engrams now are guaranteed to give you something that you don't have. The only thing is, like, if you want to play the base campaign now, you have to go talk to Amanda Holiday in the hangar. She has the Red War campaign and, like, Curse of Osiris and Warmind. She has those campaigns that you can pick up from her and replay. It was introduced for people that got into Destiny after New Light came in. So, like, yeah, you can get Sunshot, Risk Runner, or Graviton Lance. So if you play through the campaign 3 times, you can get it 3 times. Yeah, like, the campaign's not too long. Much like Destiny 1, you can kind of burn through it real quick. All you really have to do is just get to Io, because I think that's when you get the weapon. And then once you've unlocked it, you've got it on all of them, which is nice. I am probably going to wrap up the stream now, and go grab a quick bite to eat and get ready. Head out. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully, I'm gonna stream again Wednesday, unless things change. Wednesday, though, will probably be tanks. If not tanks, then maybe warships. And sometime this weekend, I'll probably play a random game. Yeah. Thanks for showing up. Alright, I am